today we're going to talk about something which is really jumping right into the fray. And that is, because of the fact that we are sharing the common denominator of living in Eretz Israel, I want to bring us to a Gemara in Megillah. The Gemara Megillah is discussing when and when not to say Hallel. The issue, as many of you probably are familiar with, is why do we not say Hallel on Purim? And there are numerous answers that come up on all different subjects, including that the Megillah itself is a form of Hallel. But the question is, we have a form for Hallel. We know exactly which of our Tehillim, of our Psalms that we say when we read this. We know when we leave out which we put in. So why isn't the classical form used? And among the various discussions, one point seems to be highlighted. And although they'll ask the question, well, that's not really such a good point, and that is that Jews do not celebrate with Hallel on miracles that happen to them outside of Eretz Israel. Of course, the question comes up, what about going out of Egypt? So the answer comes back basically, since we have been able to transform this from a land of Canaan to the land of Eretz Israel, then at that point on, miracles that happen outside of Eretz Israel are not celebrated in the form of public Hallel. So then, of course, the question really becomes, why is there so much discrepancy over saying Hallel on Yom Ha'atzmaut? My religious background training gave me many reasons. I've had rabbis telling me that Yom Ha'atzmaut is not only not a day to celebrate, it's even a day for mourning. It's a day to sorrow. It's a day because Israel is not what Israel is supposed to be, and by calling it Israel, it somehow creates chas v'chalila, a desecration of Hashem's name. But I've also heard other people express the opposite idea, that Israel is always Israel, no matter what. Like Rabbi Meir himself says elsewhere in the Gemara, no matter how far the Jews sink from God, we are always the Jews of God. And the land of Eretz Israel is always the land of Eretz Israel. So then the question, as he points it out, is as follows. If we don't like something, let's fix it. If we have problems with the state of Eretz Israel, let's make it the state that we believe it should be. You know, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov points out that on the real day of mourning, which we call Tisha B'Av, on that particular day, we read a special prayer called the Kinot. And he mentions that the letters which spell Kinot for mourning are the same letters that spell the word Tikkun. Because if we believe that we break something, then we can believe we can fix it. The whole lesson of Tisha B'Av is to teach us that the events that led to the destruction of the first and second temple were our fault. What does that mean that it's our fault? Well, if it was extraneous circumstances, if it was other nations that were beyond us and we had no ability to control those circumstances, what could we do? But when we realized that despite whatever those other circumstances were, it was still our fault, then the beauty of that message is that we can convert that through our tshuva into being our success. We can take our failure and we can convert it into our success. And I think that's the way we have to look at whatever has happened here in Yom Ha'atzmaut. Really, I mean, we had an army in 1948. 50% of the Israeli Defense Force were Holocaust survivors. It's almost like the story of coming out of Egypt. How many Jews who went to battle in Amalek and all the other battles were trained in military schools in Egypt? None. And so when we look at the miracles that we live in and what we are experiencing each day of our lives in this country, we have to truly understand that we are the chosen one. Each one of us has been chosen by God to come back to the Holy Land and to live here with an appreciation of what we have.